Good morning, class. Today we're going to be talking about multiplying fractions, and more specifically, representing multiplication of fractions pictorially so we can understand the process. So today's scenario we're going to be focusing on is we're going to be taking the idea of multiplying 1/2 times 3/4. So I'm going to just create a scenario for myself. That'll help me understand what we're doing here. So the scenario is this. I'm going to say I have a granola bar, but I only actually have half of that granola bar. So I'm going to take and let's say we split it down the middle like this. And let's do some shading to represent we're only going to have half of this granola bar. We're going to have this top half. The other half of it, let's say it's already been eaten. I ate it, or maybe somebody else ate the other half of this. So we have half of that granola bar, but we have that half, and we're going to say I get to eat 3/4 of the half. So 3/4 of a half. So now I want to switch over and consider only 3/4 of that half. So I'm going to take and split this entire granola bar into half and then split each of those in half so I can make that half that I have at the top have 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. And I get to eat, like I said earlier, I'm going to eat 3 of those 4 parts. So let's say I eat this one right here. I eat this one right here. And I eat this one right here. So I ate 3/4 of half of that granola bar. So my question is, how much of the entire granola bar did I eat? So let's talk about that. We're going to put our equal sign up here. Well, when we multiply fractions, we're going to get another fraction. And I can tell I only ate a portion or a fraction of the entire granola bar. So I ate 3 pieces, and the numerator of our fraction, when we have a fraction, represents what part we're focused on. And we're focused on 3 pieces out of the whole thing. I ate 3 pieces. So I have 3 out of, there's a total, the denominator represents the total. There's a total of 8 pieces that make up the entire granola bar. So if I ate 3/4 of only half, I ate 3/8 of the entire granola bar, which means if I share that last piece with my friend, let's pick a good color over here, that my friend is eating this one last piece that's here. So let's back up for a second though, and let's now talk about the mathematics that's involved, because we're talking about multiplying here. So we want to say, ultimately, I'm not going to draw pictures every time I multiply fractions. It's nice to represent and for me to understand, and this is the focus of today. I want you to represent and show me that you understand how to represent multiplying fractions. But let's look up here and see if we can figure out a way to just multiply and get 3/8. So over here we have 1/2 times 3/4. If I want a 3 in my numerator, if I look over here, I could really multiply numerator times numerator. 1 times 3, that gives me 3. So numerator times numerator gives me the numerator when I multiply fractions. And then I get an 8 in my denominator. And I did this based on a picture, so I know there's 8 total pieces. But look over here. If I multiply denominator 2 times denominator 4, 2 times 4 is 8. So ultimately, I could just multiply numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator to multiply my fractions. But let's also talk about another scenario that could be the case. What if the question has a second part and says, how much of the granola bar did your friend eat? Well, that's kind of easy. If I just want to represent that, I could say my friend ate 1 piece out of the total 8 pieces that existed. So my friend ate 1/8 of the entire granola bar, and I ate 3/8 of the entire granola bar, which should equal half because we only had half of the granola bar in the first place. So if we wanted to talk about 3/8 plus 1/8, that's 3/8, and another 8 makes 4/8, and that happens to be half of the granola bar. So what we're going to do today is you're going to get some scenarios and some fractions to multiply. With your scenarios, please do a pictorial representation for me. And on your fractions that are just multiplying the fractions, you can just do the algorithm, which we determined was numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. Enjoy. I can't wait to see what you get.